Welcome back to One Comic Book Day, where we're covering Superboy issue 16 and the third and final story, Superboy on Mars. It's a classic superhero swap tell, sort of, when it eventually gets there. I know I've complained before about Superboy comics needing to set up the plot, maybe not immediately get into things. Spend that first act building up the threat and actually building up the threat instead of just having the threat there, and we're supposed to expect that it's somewhat of a threat without actually showing us the whole showing versus telling dilemma. But sometimes the story doesn't really build into anything, or it goes on for too long for what it ends up accomplishing. And that's true here. We have about 4 or 5 pages. Remember, this is about 11 to 12 of Superboy trying to have a vacation on the beach, but constantly being interrupted by having to save people. Not much of an actual plot so far, somewhat funny at times, but this is all supposed to lead into a conversation between him and Mars Boy. Yes, Mars Boy returns for this because he needs someone to switch superhero identities with. And there isn't many superheroes he can, especially if he's in the past versus all the other DC superheroes. Remember, there isn't a mass continuity where they all really know each other yet. Wait, I think the JSA actually does exist. The JSA exists. I think it does exist by now. Or in 1952. The JSA definitely exists. So there is actually continuity where all these people know each other. But he has no one to switch costumes with unless there's a Green Arrow boy. I know he has his sidekick Speedy, but this is before Speedy. There is no Green Arrow yet. It is early days Superboy. Or early days Superman, to be more specific. But we waste a lot of time not actually getting to the real meat and potatoes. They switch places to prove that one of them has it harder than the other. No one explains their actual societies to the other one, so there's a lot of mistakes for not understanding how the Mars and Earth societies work, which Mars Boy spent some time on Earth, so he should know how Earth kind of exists. But they're both making a mess of their secret identity. In fact, Superboy accidentally returns to the secret identity of Mars Boy, and thank God they apparently look identical for this to be pulled off. One has blonde hair, but that's not very hard for Superboy to pull off. So while he's switching back, he does it in front of this weird, cat-dog looking thing. Not cat-dog, which on both ends was either a dog or a cat, but something that looks like a cat and a dog combined. Something that looks like a cat and a dog fused together. Actually, that doesn't really differentiate it from cat dog, but something that looked like it had a father that was a cat and a mother that was a dog. Wait, wasn't that the plot of Cat Dog? I am doing a terrible job explaining this to you, but you should be able to see it. And this creature is actually sentient and can talk, so that's a massive problem. How are they going to get out of this? Well, really quickly. They both kind of admit that they both have a hard time being their own superhero selves, and, well, both come up with a really easy idea to explain things. Because, yeah, these comics have terrible, terrible, terrible endings. There is no actual conflict. There's just a moment of oh no, what am I going to do? I'm going to do that. There needs to be some sort of struggle. You can't just have a moment of panic and then immediately have the solution. You got to actually build to that solution. You need to build the things. These comics have to raise the tension, or else it's not much of a conflict, and stories are conflict. But I will say this. I would rather the weird cat-dog creature than the whole Lana Lang plotline, because it is goofy and I love it, Golden Age comic books. Give me more of that fantastical wonderfulness instead of the same thing over and over and over and over again. Okay, that is it from Superboy issue 16 in the third story, Superboy on Mars. There actually wasn't a lot of Superboy on Mars. There was a lot of Mars Boy on Earth. For some reason, that sentence doesn't sound like it makes sense, but it does actually totally make sense. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications when a new video goes up. I do this Monday through Friday, but Fridays is Bat Friday, and I'm probably not going to have time to do that tomorrow because I'm definitely seeing Avatar, and that's a 3.5-hour movie. And until next time, let's ponder the question, whatever did happen to the boy of tomorrow? And will this be the last time we ever see Mars Boy? It's actually kind of impressive he came back and they remembered continuity. Okay, have a great day.